Hi, I'm Ken Robinson. A lot of my background actually is in the arts. I started out in drama education, and then I ran a big national arts project in the UK for several years on the arts and schools. And I've always felt that the arts are fundamental to education.
We think about the world in all the ways that we experience it. We think visually, we think in sound, we think kinesthetically, we think in abstract terms, we think in movement. Secondly, intelligence is dynamic. Intelligence is wonderfully interactive. The brain isn't divided into compartments. In fact, creativity, more often than not, comes about through the interaction of different disciplinary ways of seeing things. And the third thing about intelligence is it's distinct. I'm fascinated by how people got to be there. It's really prompted by a conversation I had with a wonderful woman who most people have never heard of. She's called Gillian Lynn. Have you heard of her? Some have. She's a choreographer, and everybody knows her work. She did Cats. Anyway, Gillian and I had lunch one day. I said, how'd you get to be a dancer? And she said it was interesting. When she was at school, she was really hopeless. And the school in the 30s wrote to her parents and said, we think Gillian has a learning disorder. She couldn't concentrate. She was fidgeting. I think now they'd say she had ADHD. Wouldn't you? Anyway, she went to see this specialist. So this oak-panelled room, and she was there with her mother, and she was led and sat on this chair at the end, and she sat on her hands for 20 minutes while this man talked to her mother about all the problems Gillian was having at school. And at the end of it, because she was disturbing people, their homework was always late and so on, little kid of 8, in the end, the doctor went and sat next to Gillian and said, Gillian, I've listened to all these things that your mother's told me. I need to speak to her privately. So he said, wait here, we'll be back, we won't be very long, and they went and left her. But as they went out the room, he turned on the radio that was sitting on his desk. And when they got out the room, he said to her mother, just stand and watch her. And the minute they left the room, she said she was on her feet, moving to the music. And they watched for a few minutes, and he turned to her mother, and he said, you know, Mrs. Lynn, Gillian isn't sick, she's a dancer. Take her to a dance school. I said, what happened? Said she did. I can't tell you how wonderful it was. We walked in this room, and it was full of people like me. People who couldn't sit still. People who had to move to think. Who had to move to think. They did ballet, they did tap, they did jazz, they did modern, they did contemporary. She was eventually auditioned for the Royal Ballet School. She became a soloist. She had a wonderful career at the Royal Ballet. She eventually graduated from the Royal Ballet School, found her own company, the Gillian Dance Company, met Andrew Lloyd Webber. She's been responsible for some of the most successful musical theatre productions in history. She's given pleasure to millions, and she's a multi-millionaire. Somebody else might have put her on medication and told her to calm down. And when you travel around the world, every education system on earth has the same hierarchy of subjects. Everyone, doesn't matter where you go. You think it would be otherwise, but it isn't. At the top are mathematics and languages, then the humanities, and at the bottom are the arts, everywhere on earth. And in pretty much every system, too, there's a hierarchy within the arts. Art and music are normally given a higher status in schools than drama and dance. There isn't an education system on the planet that teaches dance every day to children the way we teach them mathematics. Why? Why not? I think this is rather important. I think maths is very important, but so is dance. Children dance all the time if they're allowed to. We all do. We all have bodies, don't we? You know, did I miss a meeting? I mean, that you were steered at school benignly away from things you might have been drawn to on the grounds that they're not useful. Don't do art, you won't be an artist. Don't do music, you won't be a musician. But interesting, you see, people do not say, don't do maths, you won't be a mathematician. You want to encourage people to do the arts, make it, put it among the priorities, you know, give it equal weight with everything else. It seemed to me self-evident that what drama offered at its best in education was central to the purposes of education. It offered collaborative work, group work. It offered opportunities for kids to use their imaginations, to express feelings, and to explore the relationship of feelings to ideas. It offered opportunities to learn about cultural histories and traditions, and it offered opportunities for the whole community of a school to come together at various points. I'm not confusing classroom drama with performance, but performance always seemed to me to be an important part of it.
And I feel that the arts have to be seen at the heart of education, not instead of, but alongside science and humanities and physical education. And all these things have a powerful place in the education of every child. They are part of the full range of education we need to provide. So I really believe that an education which omits the art is omitting a major part of what it is that makes us human, and what it is that all children have an entitlement to learn and to experience. So to me, it's a very big deal.